Welcome back, everybody. Game number 2 is ready to start. We're into the draft and best of 3 for the ESL 1 New York North American Qualifiers finals. This is the last semi-final, as the winner of this best of 3 will get themselves into the grand final up against Complexity. Our Bounty Hunter's banned out this time around. Bounty Hunter's gone, and so's my co-caster. A little bit of an issue, but we'll head ourselves through the draft and hopefully everything should be good and ready to go. So let's track Bounty taken out. Storm and Tusk are the bans there from Fire. They also removed the anti-mage, not wanting to deal with that one. But Gant, how you doing, man?
I'm alive. I had this issue with the Skype call DCing when I was casting with Toby earlier, and I said to him then, I genuinely think it's somehow linked to Reborn. Because I've checked that I'm losing packets connecting to the Dota server, and what will happen is the Skype call doesn't work, and then the second I DC from the game it fixes, and I reconnect, and it's like somehow my Dota is using like a lot more bandwidth than it used to now that it's Reborn.
Volvo is throttling your connection. Oh well.
Yeah. Seems fine now though, so let's hope it stays fine.
God, what? Nick? No.
What? Not me, right?
No, the stream looks like it's gone. Maybe it's internet this side. Because chat is going nuts saying picnic and the stream preview has stopped. Okay, well, yeah, for the VOD, we'll just run to the draft and I'll try and sort that out on the side. Dark Zero Undying, AM and Clink's taken out. DC, they've got that Lina once again, this time though with a Clockwork and a Dazzle. Fire, their hands on the Gyrocopter. Gyro Rubik, not a bad opener. The one glaring difference for me between European and NA Dota is the lack of Earthshaker. Like, I feel like Lina ES is so common, as well as Gyro ES in Europe, just the fact you've got that long-range initiation setup stun for the 4-roll or even 5-roll Earthshaker. And the only real time I've seen it in NA is Demon's offlane ES.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot less popular, and bit of a strange trend that, because Earthshaker, when you get to those international lands, it really is everyone playing it. I don't feel like it's a regionalized hero when you look at, say, for example, TI5. But, oh, speak of the devil, here comes Earthshaker. I mean, it does come up in the NA drafts, it just doesn't feel nearly as prioritized, which I think is what you were getting at. Comes up later in the draft, usually. And getting that Earthshaker with the Rubik, which is nice, because usually you don't want an Earthshaker to go against a Rubik. In fact, taking that early Rubik is maybe the deterrent for the enemy team, you know, not to take Earthshaker.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Digital Chaos will have to go somewhere. I mean, they've got a support Dazzle. They've probably got a mid Lina, but it could also be a support Lina. I would think that they'd pick another support here, unless there's a particular one position hero they need to commit to now that they're worried about getting banned out. The obvious example there's Phantom Lancer, but there's a Gyrocopter and an Earthshaker on the other side, and I don't know if they're confident to take Phantom Lancer against those heroes. A lot of people wouldn't be.
They're super scary, honestly. Earthshaker alone, the fact that you have, you know, a support or potentially an offlane hero that can hard counter your one roll is always going to be incredibly difficult to handle. So that Scarth Mage pick kind of shifts the Lina definitely towards the middle lane.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I gotta say, like, I'm fanning out a bit here. Aoi's Scarth Mage is just so ridiculously good. There's like 2 players in the world that are ridiculously good at Scarth Mage, and one is Aoi and one is Lil from Virtus Pro. And I know that Lil, it's because he played it over 100 times in ranked games. I don't know if that's the story with Aoi, but so many times I've watched Aoi play this hero, and he just ends up being like an extra core. I mean, often he's laning with a hero that can move around the map quite early on, and he gets some space, but he buys different items to what other people do. I've seen him with a mech, I've seen him with a drum, and he hardly ever dies on the hero, makes a lot of plays. Just really phenomenal Scarth Mage player.
Assassin. Dire team ban.
Fire are gonna respond with a Templar Assassin. So they they know that it's probably going to be a Lina mid. TA versus Lina, I think it's a mostly even match. I want to say it favors Lina a little bit, but I mean, it's probably a lane where both players just farm, all else equal, and then they both go off and farm some stacks after that. The most likely outcome. And there'll be one final ban for each team, while Digital Chaos is still looking for their one position hero, and Fire are either looking for support or an offlaner. I would err on the side of offlaner, probably.
Sorry, Scan. I keep looking over to the side. It should be like there's nothing indicating it's broken anymore. So
Is the chat still going mad?
Yes, but there's obviously that Twitch delay, so it should pop up soon. Hopefully. Yeah.
Right.
So we're through to the final stage of bans. Fire. So you went through Earthshaker could be offlane support. Not quite sure where he's heading, and like Digital Chaos think he's definitely support, taking out that Broodmother. I'd be inclined to agree. But who do you go as your offlane hero here if Earthshaker's not there? There's no Clockwork, there's no Darkseer, Undying, Broodmother, Tusk, all banned out, even the Bounty Hunter that could, you know, switch into the offlane role. And it's not as though you have a good setup for dual lanes here either.
Yeah, and I would say let's go for that offlane slaughter again, but I mean, an unconventional offlaner is going to suffer precisely because, I mean, there's a Skyeth Mage. Like that's, in fact, I think why Digital Chaos ban the Broodmother is I was thinking, what's the hero that I can't utterly destroy and zone out as a Skyeth Mage? Well, Broodmother might be one of those heroes. He needs to constantly have vision of him, and he's got that regen anyway in his webs.
Bring back the Batrider. Bring it back.
Batrider could be interesting. I mean, I don't expect to see it, but it feels like it's long due. It's a hero that always went out, came in, went out, came in, and right now I want to say it's out for the longest it's really ever been out of the main metagame.
Phoenix is still there. Phoenix could work. Oh, like it's not good against. It's not great against Scarth Mage by any means. The fact you've got Ancient Seal and a good way to zone him out. One of the few offlaners though that can, you know, still get experience and gold as long as you don't die.
10 seconds remaining.
But
I assumed that Lina would go mid, and now I'm not so sure anymore. I don't know what you think about that.
I think they'll do TC safe lane Lina again. I think so as well. Ember is you know, Yawai hero. Throw him towards middle lane. Put Lina onto TC and safe lane that again. Like, Ember doesn't feel like a TC hero as well, you know, looking at it on the other side. And that's a silencer.
So it is an offlane Earthshaker, and
yeah.
You know what, it makes sense when we talk about the fact that there's that scary Skywrath zoning you. You need to have some way to just forcibly change the creep equilibrium, and Earthshaker is one of the few heroes that does that. Vision block the lane off, make sure you get some experience, because if you need to like physically contest the lane, Skywrath Mage is just going to make your life hell.
Okay, the stream is back up. Okay, we're good. Are we good now? Oh goodness, it's been an interesting night. Okay, nice, we're good, excellent, we're back. Draft has ended.
In the earlier series that I cast with Tobia, the Fufyunks against Monkey Business, No-Tail actually ran Ember Spirit mode against Fatah's TA. And there was also Earthshake on the TA side there, and there No-Tail died very, very early. He was being aggressive on the Ember Spirits, tried to kill the TA, Earthshaker came in and vision, and actually it was the Ember Spirit who died. So I guess in this case it's offlane Earthshaker, not as likely for that same thing to happen. But it's an interesting lane where Ember Spirit can be tempted to go for that kill, but could potentially be punished for it. I mean, he's got a way to take off a refract early on, but he also takes a hell of a lot of damage from that TA, especially once there's some Cyberblade harassment going on.
I have not seen that move before. Bulba TP to the tier 1 mid, ran himself down. They don't know about this Observer Ward. They do know that he placed the ward over here and they're spam pinging it out. They'll be able to, if they have a sentry on Fluff, yeah they do. They'll be able to deward one of these, but they can't deward the other. So Bulba with a sneaky little move across there. Gets his items from the courier and gets it down.
Misses the Observer Ward, the sentry.
It does. Does indeed.
Do they have another one? Oh, they've given it to the Earthshaker. So this is the most common sentry ward placed. to unblock this Radiant pool camp. So it's clever to actually put an observer ward that specifically doesn't get seen by it.
And very often you do see a laning ward up against the Earthshaker. Just to see where he's hiding, because you know he wants to get up to level 2, level 3, block off the creep wave, make sure you know exactly what he's up to. But these lanes, how they're going to pan out? Moo, Earthshaker off lane, going to be heading up against this defensive dual lane for now anyway. TC, safe lane Lina, Biryu on the Dazzle. Yeah, Scarth Mage, AUI, going to be... Every time I see Scarth Mage on Naga Siren, I always talk about AUI, and it's starting to get old now, but this is what he does. He has made a name for himself playing this exact role and doing this move. Controlling the lane for 45 seconds to a minute to, you know, a minute and a bit, the first wave and a half or whatever it is. Give your mid laner uncontested farm. You get a faster bottle, stop the opponent mid laner getting a bottle, and then you force rotations like this. Fluff can no longer sit down bot and try and find kills on Bulba, because with the Silence of Rubik plus the Gyro, you definitely have kill potential. So the Scarth Mage, you know, he's got 3 different roles here, just controlling so many different facets of the early laning stage. Absolutely crazy. So Yawar gets up, 4 last hits, 5. Much full free farm, and now with the Flame Guard and Searing Chains, Fluff is dropping low. They don't have enough damage to finish him just yet, and Yawar had a little think about diving there. Look at the damage they've done. Salve needs to be used by 747. Fluff has to go back to base and heal.
Yawar, a reminiscence of his brother Samil, actually. Just like really having a acute sense of how much he can push the aggression early on, and it pays dividends. The Scarth, the mid-harassment, and the just general mid-harassment strategy, I want to say it somehow originates from that old Cloud9 team, because remember we used to see PyLai doing it a lot as well, and he liked to do it with Wind Ranger. But
with Bane as well.
At some point in that team, I feel like they had a conversation and decided like this is a really good thing to do, and it is more widespread now. But I do associate it with those particular players.
That's true. Like when Bane is picked up nowadays, I automatically think back to PyLai going Enfeeble first. And even though people don't do it anymore, I still think that Enfeeble first Bane, you go towards mid lane, you throw 2 Enfeebles out, and you fully stop the opponent mid laner from farming at all. Now 747 might actually be in trouble here. He's got a Melt Strike onto Yawar, but he's given up. He knows he's got refraction charges here, but gets them off just in time. Yawar now has to turn. Brian. Fluff. Rubik with the DD. A little bit scary there with the hefty.
That is a snipe.
Damn!
From Bulba.
Bulba! What a player.
And 747 will not be happy about that. His lane has started. He's really been struggling from the start in terms of getting farm. Fluff's trying to help him, it's not really achieving that much, and then to actually get the death, he's gonna have a very delayed bottle, some very delayed boots as well.
I never thought about this, but you get experience from Rocket Flare kills. Like, I know Sunstrike, Techie's Mines you do globally, but I didn't really think about Rocket Flare. Bulba got himself some XP for that. He's up to level 4. He is out-leveling the Gyrocopter, who obviously, you know, has Whitebeard here. Leeching experience, and they... Oh boy, 2 sentries not catching the Observer Ward. It's pretty tragic for them.
This is... I don't know if you watched, actually, but Purge made a video about warding recently. And I thought it was quite interesting. I mean, he was commenting on some pretty common phenomena, and this is one of them. That people, when they counter ward this camp, they usually go top and bottom. And what that means is if you go far left or far right, they don't actually find it. So there's this like small mind game involved with the warding and counter warding. Are you going to try and counter ward left and right or top and bottom? Because you can't... There's a blind spot either way.
Yeah. It's like that Venn diagram. Catch this area very well, or these 2 big circles here, or you catch these 2 over here. But without 3 sentries, you're not going to catch all of them. Almost impossible. Well, it is impossible.
And just because the most popular one is the one where you cut down the tree, that makes it tempting for people to usually go top-bottom. And so I think the safest ward to block at the moment is going to be the far left or far right, and usually it's that left one because it's actually better vision anyway.
Now, Whitebeard keeps coming back here and is like, where's my camp? Where's my camp? I need to stack, I need to pull. He has managed to get up to level 3, so he's not missing out that much, and Fluff, he's the one that's really losing here. Level 1 still, doesn't have the Fade Bolt, doesn't have level 2. And Ember Spirit with his boots and bottle. AUI is still sticking around. How's the old Earthshaker doing? Yeah, he's finished up his soul ring. He's just blocking off these creep waves, but take a look at that. They know that this TA loves to go and stack up these ancient camps. So second time in a row, TA's ancients get warded up.
And TA is actually out-leveled Ember Spirits quite substantially. Guess that's because Skywrath Mage just shared a lot more XP than Rubik did. Can't think of another explanation for that.
It's Buri up at top lane. He has a free jungle. He just keeps stacking and pulling and doing whatever he wants to. Like, this lane has pushed up into the tier 1, but that's, you know, no fault of their own. The Earthshaker innately pretty much allows that to happen. But TC has hit level 6. And this is where the Earthshaker has to be very careful with his positioning, because one Lightstrike array, one loose Dragon Slave followed by Laguna Blade could definitely secure a kill on him.
Why has Whitebeard not bought boots yet? Is he considering like a straight big Midas rush on support silencer?
Huh. That's a good question. Don't know.
It's quite a greedy thing to do, but I can't think of a better explanation. It's not like they need to upgrade the crew or need more wards or something. He's just stacking up gold. Seems like for its own sake, and the boots make a difference to some extent. I mean, walking around, stacking camps, walking to the rune. If you manage to get caught by an enemy hero, you're definitely dead if you don't have the boots. And it does make me think he's gonna try and at least keep the option open of going for that greedy build.
Bulba Clock. Oh, it only just dawned on me. It's Bulba Clock. He is the clock player.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because it's a discussion that I've seen a lot of people having recently about the item build on Clockwork. Do you go Tranquils? Tranquils is popular for most people at the moment, but then Blade Mail and Force Staff. Which one first? Do you get both? Bulba tends to usually go Blade Mail. I think he actually swears by it. There's a lot of players recently saying that Blade Mail is outdated and it's not the item to go on Clockwork. People say go Earn, go Force Staff. I'm not sure what he'll do this game, but I feel like he's one of the players most associated with the Blade Mail build, actually.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Blitz. I can't remember, someone at the Red Bull event the other day, and they had this chat with Bulba, and he said that Clockwork is, you know, basically not a hero without that Blade Mail. In fact, you can jump in and cause so much havoc. You become that frontline target, and then you pop the Blade Mail. All of a sudden, people don't want to touch you. They can't focus you down, and you're still there with the cog disrupting, causing chaos in the middle of the fight. And since that changed, because Blade Mail used to be magical damage, then it got changed, you know, quite a long while back, but still, back to pure, or to pure from magic, it becomes a little more potent as well. So when you jump onto someone like an Earthshaker or a Silencer or whoever it is, can't really stand and fight you. They're still going to be, you know, dealing that massive amount of damage back to themselves.
It's so interesting because the Force Staff is more kind of guaranteed utility, and the Earn actually also in terms of going for kills once you have charges, it's more guaranteed. You know, you don't require something of them. In some cases, like Rocket Barrage, Blade Mail is guaranteed damage, but it's interesting because recently one of those, you know, those unofficial Kappa costs or whatever that Eternal Envy and friends have been doing, I heard on one of those, a bunch of them, I think it was S4 maybe originally said it, and then the others just agreed. They were like, no, Blade Mail, not a clock item anymore, stop buying it. That's what they said. And I know that there's strong opinions on both sides of that debate, so I wonder if like it gets resolved at any point, or if it just stays being that way, because...
The level 7 gyro rotation. I saw it coming. The 3-man convergence up onto that Dazzle, and they get the pretty simple takedown. Yawa, though, aggressive up into 747. And look at this, burning through all the HP. Refractions popped, and the turn is here. 747 dead, though. The refraction charges didn't last.
Bot lane also, I think Whitebeard dies for his greed here. Oh,
nope.
Missed hook.
Bulba. Expecting it. Like, he was expecting my bed to go run towards the creep wave. He's still gonna dive this though with the Cogs and Battery Assault. The Global Silence is a little bit iffy there, but finds the kill beforehand. Fisher there will actually block him out. Yawa comes in. Sleight of Fist now. Remnant over. Boo has an enchant totem here, but with no Echo, no Fisher. Still no dive out from Chaos. Straight off.
Oh, Silence actually gets the kill there and steals some intelligence. And look, yeah, he's bought a Hand of Midas recipe. Straight up. First item, no boots.
No boots, no branches, no stats, no regen. Midas recipe, that's it. Yawa, you've got a Remnant, but you've got to throw it sooner rather than later. Jumps over to the trees, but the TA is here. The Fisher locks him in, and he's got no escape. But that trade-off actually what becomes a 3 for 2, losing the Ember, Clock, and
Radiant's top tower is
no wait, a 2 for 2. They killed the TA, the Silencer, and then they got the Ember and the Clockwork in exchange.
Yeah. The Silencer kill, not actually worth that much. I mean, he actually had a lot of gold, but he didn't lose that much of it, and managed to buy us a Midas recipe anyway.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
TA for Ember's a pretty even trade. I think the Clock's worth a bit more than the Silencer. They'll have seen now. They'll have seen the Whitebeard in that mid lane. They know he's going straight Midas rush, and it's almost insulting. I think if you're Digital Chaos, you'll be like,
oh, Bulba,
no, you can't do that.
Miss. A hookshot goes over the catapult pretty much there as the creep tanks it up, and Bulba gives away another kill. Jo up to a killing spree. 2 missed hooks, and it's really costing him.
I think he heard us discussing his Blade Mail build and questioning it, and you know, went a bit on tilt. That's my made-up narrative of explaining, because usually you don't see Bulba missing hooks like that.
Oh no, definitely not. And like the one on the Silencer, okay, that's a throwaway one. It's into fog. You expect him to push forward. He went back. Fair enough. This one was a direct line onto 2 heroes, and he still missed it. But comes back to life. Hookshot's back up in 20 seconds. He's still got plenty of chances to redeem himself in this game. Yawar.
And Silencer getting very close.
Yeah, he is. TC. Call down. The global's there. And with this 747 TA actually rips him apart. Lina alone, and this is pretty uncharacteristic. Lina thought he had people. Oh god, the Echo Biryu gets caught up at top. And all of a sudden, Fire find themselves ahead in terms of kills, and they've got a nice amount of gold flowing their way. Earthshaker up to 3,500 net worth.
Do you think there was a way for the game to take it into account, which I feel like it's not easy to think of, but do you think Silencer deserves to get an assist there? If you make a kill because of global silence? Because the way assists work, it's based on actually providing damage in the kill. But there's other situations like that where you slow someone or disable them, but there's no damage involved, or Mirana uses ulti.
Like Batrider Lasso, I think, is one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
If you don't damage with it, if you don't have Firefly, that was always the one that I looked at and thought he needs an assist.
Oh, he's in trouble.
He is. He's dead. The dive under the tower. Flat cannon is actually what gets them the kill, and not 747. This hasted TA running around, causing absolute havoc for Digital Chaos here. Look at the Gyrocopter, and he's farming nicely. Phase boost drums. Jo has been TPing around from bot to top over and over again. They still lose the tier 1. Can they chase this out? Fisher lands on Biryu, and now the call down not forthcoming. Oh, Bulba. He landed that hook shot, kinda, and trapped 747 in the cogs. With the Mystic Flare, they've got the setup and the kill. That's something that we didn't really talk about, was that classic combination. We used to see Sand King plus the Scarrath. Then we saw a lot of Clockwork plus the Scarrath. Just the fact you've got long range initiation, trap from the cogs, the damage from that battery assault, and the Ancient Seal to amplify all your damage up, and Mystic Flare. And the kills. They've moved themselves into this Dire jungle to try and find Lina, because TC has left the lanes and he's looking for the little bit of farm to get him up to that Yule Scepter.
I gotta say, I mean, this is not a general criticism of the player, but it's a particular criticism. 747, we were talking about this last game as well. I think he dies maybe a bit too much. We were saying then the Queen of Pain just maybe too reckless and blinking forward. TA is another hero that, if you're safe about your movements, if you've got traps to scout, your refracts ready at the right times, you pay attention to where the enemies are, how many off the map, probably shouldn't be dying that much this early in the game.
Yeah. Level 4 refraction. Obviously there's things like Flame Guard that Yawar has used to full effect to burn through those charges, but yeah, situations like at the bot lane where he's sitting at the river entrance with that vision, not knowing what's going on. Oh, Bulba! He's not gonna miss that one! That's the sweet-ass revenge onto that Silencer.
I don't think Whitebeard cares that much, because he's got his Midas operational, he's got boots, he's got a TP scroll, and yeah, I mean, they can occasionally kill him, but he's gonna keep scaling now. He's got all the farm that he really needs to be functional in the whole game.
Now, what do you think? What do you think he actually heads on into? Because Port Silencer nowadays, I've really loved like 4-staff Glimmer Cape go for that kind of utility rather than the big Aghanims Refresher kind of thing. But do you think he needs one? Oh, okay. Yawa jumps back to a Remnant. Do you think he needs one of those big items to deal with the Ember Spirit?
I think when you go straight Midas with such a rush, it does suggest to me you will be going for a big item, abusing the fact that you can actually get it without taking that much space on the map. I would say Refresher Orb. I kind of personally agree with you, especially because there's a clock on the enemy team. I think I'd be much happier to just see a 4-staff. But I don't know if you... Well,
Global for the Dazzle. Are they even gonna... Yeah, there we go. There we go.
But Whitebeard's in trouble.
Yawa, yeah, he's towards the lane. He uses Midas. That's value right there. Midas off cooldown. Bulba, though, has hooked in, and the Cogs rocket barrage. Jayo dies! Bulba survives, and now they turn back for more. Bluff and Stuff is down and out, and in from the side, Yawa's hunting for more. Moo, he's got no mana, he's got no soul ring. He does have a TP, though. There's no one to stop him from escaping that.
And notice, while I was saying 747 seems to be a player who dies maybe a bit too much in general, just look at Aoi. I mean, his team has had quite a lot of deaths, and it's the Dazzle and the Clock mostly, and Skywrath Mage, a hero that is actually, I think, one of the squishier, easier heroes to pick off, but it's just a strength of him as a player, that he's good at minimizing the number of deaths he gets, and that's how he ends up coming out with these items a lot of the time. People always talk about how he spends a lot of time farming, but come on, Skywrath Mage is not a hero you can flash farm on. No matter, you get given space as a Skywrath Mage, you're still not going to get all of your farm to become a core just from creeps. A lot of it has to do with getting kills and not dying, and he's at 5 assists, he's been near a bunch of kills, he has died only once this game. And I think every support player watching this could learn from Aoi's approach.
Yeah, it's like we talk about a lot of offlaners. You know, Phoenix is a prime example of a hero that maybe can't farm a ton, maybe doesn't get a lot of value, you know, stat camps or anything like that. But as long as he gets that tick gold over time, he gets the Tranquil Boots and then the Midas, maybe he gets a kill or an assist here or there, the not dying that's really a key factor. And that obviously is during laning stage. But for supports, you really have to factor that in for the rest of the game. If you're not throwing away cheap deaths, and a lot of the time it comes a lot more down to you missing out on gold than giving your opponents gold. Because kills don't give a ton. Don't give a massive amount of gold. No, it's a nice little boost, but when you compare it to a couple of creeps, it's 4 or 5 creeps. It's a creep camp, one stacked up creep camp.
Oh, they're smoking straight into the enemy.
Oh, Bulba. This Skywrath Mage ult there. It's actually going to cancel out the blink, so Moo can't move forward, but Bulba's already gone. Bolt down will secure that with the rocket barrage, and stolen out is Arcane Bolt. Yawar wants to fight. He'll get Fluff. They can't get Jayo.
Well, at least they end up getting a return. It's probably still not worth it. They lost their bot tower, they could have support for their offlaner. But you could see by the movement they made with the smoke, the way they ran through the jungle this way, they just did not expect that the enemy team is sitting in their jungle there, because they can go a safer way that doesn't involve, they go around the right side. Exactly, just like that, and then they don't need to risk going up the high ground.
Do expect 3 heroes sitting up on this little plateau here. Earthshaker, I'm pretty sure his blink got revealed there. I'm not 100% certain that Digital Chaos clicked him and saw it, but you can kind of assume that Earthshaker's there, he's got the blink in the vision, and they know. So they're going to be a little more wary about their positioning and how they spread themselves out, especially in small, confined areas. They might even give up this tier 1. Desolator for 747 is done. Roshan is available, and this is where the Radiant really want to start applying a lot of this map pressure. Keep DC on their toes, stop Yawa from farming freely across the map, and he's going straight for the Manta style, knowing that this global silence is that ever their threat. Don't want to get caught.
So, when I was watching No-Tail play Ember Spirit earlier, he started on an ultimate orb, and then he picked up an Orb of Venom, and I was like, oh, he's going Scardy actually. And then he actually ended up buying a Linken's. I don't think there's any reason to go Linken's here. It's not like the enemy team has a Lina or anything like that. But I wonder if... No, it has to be the Manta, right? Just because of the global silence. Because in the other game we were talking about, he wanted to deal with a storm, which could jump on him and Orchid, and so we're thinking, well, if you get a Scardy, you're still just tank enough to live, but the purpose of the orb is to get an item that deals with the global silence. I don't think there's anything else to it, is there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way to go. But he saved up a lot of gold, and I'm starting to question it now. you never know. You never know. Bulba, finished up his blade mail though. 20 minutes in, pretty okay. 3-3-3 is his score. As TC, what has he actually got? Going into the Aghanim Scepter. So the Yule Scepter hasn't really opened up too many opportunities for kills. Okay, AUI, you're dead here. Pushed it a little bit too far. And there's your second death for your Scarith Mage.
A+ for Whitebeard, who is actually going for 4-star.
That's the way to go. Go utility, get yourself out of cogs.
Yeah, I think it's exactly right. Maybe if they had someone else who's getting a really quick 4-star, not as important, but Earthcheck is heading there, but I still think... Yeah, you need to be relevant earlier on. You don't want your silence to just be his global silence so early on in the game. So if you can get that 4-star, then he's doing two very relevant things always. And in fact, with the max curse build, you'd be surprised at what kind of impact it can have in a team fight if the curse is well timed and hits a bunch of people.
Jo got phase drums. All of the drum charges have actually gone here, and Biryu walked straight into the gyrocopter. Mu even blinked forward looking for the enchant totem on the back end. Radiant, they want to try and safeguard their own jungle, smoke up. But where are they heading? Into Roche Pit? Clockwork has used Flare to scout it out, but they had themselves in now. They're going to get seen. Bulba's walking forward. Oh, barely. 747 escapes right past him, and... Yeah,
he was being ganked. He's got a Manta though, and he has a Spirit up, so...
And he's got DD. He doesn't have people behind him to actually turn this and try and fight, so he should be okay. He will be. He actually got changed up. The Rubik's Stole chains, the final glaive comes back to hit him. That's global pop now. This is now a period of time where DC can say, okay, global's down. We can go and fight. We've got the tools and abilities to go and look for pickoffs, even look for a 5v5 here.
Yeah. I guess it's the Manta reveal. They maybe didn't click on him and see that he had the Manta, because going for that kind of kill when he does have it is extremely difficult. Have all smoked up. It does look like they want to take that fight you're talking about, but the line's been drawn on the map to go all the way to the top lane, and I don't know if they can get there on time to have a relevant impact.
That's a long journey. It's only an Earthshaker up there as well. You look at the defensive positioning here of JO, Fluff, and 747. They're all behind this tier 1 and middle lane. So they're expecting, their jungle, they're expecting maybe a push over onto... Okay, they still find them. They're expecting this push onto the tier 1 mid. But DC just get the simple pick off up at top.
So it's, given that the global's down, and they could go for a fight to just get the offlane Earthshaker, feels like maybe a bit less than what they could have gotten out of that. They could have gone for an objective, maybe got the mid tower. But as the rush pit gets pinged out and rocketed, it reminds me actually, if you compare it to the previous game, Yawara's TA was just doing work and killed the rush really early. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen any kind of attempt from 747 to sneak into that rush pit.
Even when they've smoked up, they've actually gone and looked for other things. They haven't been able to. Do have a little ancient stack though for him, so he can go and sneak that. He's heading up here to play aggressively. Yawar has his Manta style, so it's like, okay, they've got Blink Echo, and I think that's what they're waiting for here. Yawar is going to get up into its creep wave. Blink Echo is ready and waiting. Here we go. Earthshaker Blink Echo catches him, and now the stun, but can he escape? No, he cannot. Rubik with a Fade Bolt will secure the kill. And that's how you do it. That's how you kill the Ember Spirit with a Manta style.
Yeah, and that's actually not... There isn't really much of a good trade-off there for his team. No one is really pushing deep on the map. Bulba's farming pretty close to his tier 2, and the rest of the heroes were sitting in the jungle and near mid lane. That's just a clean kill for Fire. Like, really good value for them.
Did they damage him too much? I mean, he lost a little bit of gold there, but... again, it's like the anti-mage. It's time off the map, not farming. He's not being efficient. Oh, he's dead, obviously. He can't go and split push or anything like that. It has bought a little bit of time, though, for TC to finish off Aghanim Scepter, Clockwork, farming bottom lane. So with all of this commitment up the top to kill the Ember, he has kind of baited Fire into a position where they've used a ton of their heroes, a lot of their own time, trying to deal with him. And there you see it, Fire, okay, they get themselves a nice little swing of gold going their way from that kill on Ember Spirit. Experience-wise as well. They've actually stepped it up. Chaos, one game ahead in this best of 3, 12-10 now, 24 minutes in. But the Gyro and the TA farming nicely. TC is lagging behind a little bit, but this is where he really comes into his own. Aghanim Scepter, try and nuke down this Gyrocopter because the timing is there. The BKB for Gyro, 10 seconds, he's got it. He's also got 3,000 gold in the bank, which he could actually start to look into, you know, a Butterfly, a Titanic, something like that. That Ags Lina, I could rip him a new one.
Yeah, and I think it's exactly right. It's what they got to get some value out of now. Digital Chaos get 1 or 2 important kills with the Ags Lina. Maybe they want him to be level 16, ideally. He's not quite there, but combining with someone else, or if he's going for one of the weaker heroes, he definitely can, and that will be important space. Yawar's actually chasing pretty deep to try and get 747 here, and 747's blink isn't ready just yet.
That melt strike though. Yawar doesn't have any help. Well, 747 does. Moo is backing him up. Cavalry on the way forward. He clears out the illusions.
But that's space created. That's actually really good from Yawar because he knows that he baited a bunch of allies to head this direction. It's obvious to him that there's no way he kills the TA fast there. So by chasing the TA, he will draw other people, and then he TPs down to the bot lane, and he's actually made some space for himself there.
That should help.
Got a regen rune. Remnant sees into the Roche pit just in case they do smoke themselves around, but 747's pushing onto the tier 2. Where are they going?
They're gonna rush. They're gonna rush. They have a medallion.
Nice. That's a really nice move actually. They can just jump the Semper Spirit in, and the Radiant have they have no way of doing this. They can't get in there. They're taking the tier 2 and they think, right, we've got the better trade. We've got the tier 2. What have they got? They've got nothing. They're farming bot lane and that's it. They're probably trying to set up to defend here, which is why they spread themselves out so thin. But Roshan, it's pretty much already dead.
It's one of the most common trades in the game, I want to say. If you have to choose which tower in the game is most commonly going down around the time Rush dies, it's that tower. It's the tier 2 at top lane. Because you sense the enemy team's going to your tier 2 top, and that's like a signal, time to rush. It's just so far away from Rush. Even the tier 1 top, although usually it's Rush isn't that early.
Oh dear. Dazzle, you kind of walked into this one. You've got your Grave. I don't know if you can cast it in time. Looks like you can actually. Grave up, can throw the Weave out on the side as well. Is that going to finish him off? It doesn't. He heals up just enough to keep himself alive. It didn't bait out any big ultis there though. Dazzle, with the Dazzle, a heal being stolen by the Rubik. He's got the Shadow Wave, and this could actually keep the sustain going for the push.
And Whitebeard has actually got a point booster, so it's not after forced off, not actually refresh at first, the Aghanim Scepter.
Aggressive weave though. That minus armor added up with a sleight of fist. The Spirit can do a ton of damage, misses out on the chains with the slight combo. Look at AUI though, farming away on the spot lane, the split pushing Scarth Mage. His mech is 300 gold away. We're heading into the Ancient Greaves. Ancient Guardian Greaves. I don't know why I always call them Ancient Greaves.
Oh, Ancient Seal, I guess maybe if you're looking at the hero, it's...
That's great for him as well, because he can dispel that global. Oh, wait, what? Okay, they wanted the global to stop 747 from dying, and TC could have had that. Fogged a little bit and turned himself around. But yeah, Greaves to dispel that silence is going to be great for AUI.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. It's not something I thought about before, but I mean, you buy the Arcane Boots, you buy the mech for utility for your team, you buy the Greaves for utility for your team, and every so often the Greaves, the dispel effect on yourself is actually relevant, and definitely against the Silencer, that's probably one of the most obvious cases. Yeah,
like Darkseer against Silencer, Guardian Greaves are the go-to item, just so you can get your combo off, and AY here. Who do you aim to silence and Mystic Flare? Is it just the person that Clockwork goes on? Or is there someone in particular that you really want to silence up? Silence the Silencer?
Yeah, silencing the Silencer would be pretty good. Otherwise the Earthshaker.
Oh, Aegis.
I think those the...
Yawar still towards mid lane, TC lifted up and he's down. Grave can't save him, throws Laguna Blade to kill off Fluff. But TC's life is forfeit here.
Breaks.
A Clockwork hookshot to turn things around, but Yawar is so low on mana they can't do it. Meanwhile, down at the bottom lane, Templar Assassin finds the pickoff on AUI Scarth Mage, and they're being closed in here. 747 is hooked onto on his Blade Mail. Bulba. That's another go there. Another time where TA has stayed around too long, thought he could get a lot more value, and loses out massively.
Yeah, I mean, really don't like to pick on someone, but 747 is dying too much, and in situations where he really doesn't need to be dying. Team just got a really big win there, actually. And maybe it's because this team just got a big win, he got a bit complacent, just a little bit too comfortable.
Yeah, like, they killed Lina twice, and he got the pick off on Scarth Mage. I guess he thinks, oh, I can take the tier 2 for free. They're not going to contest, but Digital Chaos, they really were not giving up that tower.
And Yawara's actually very close to his Battle Fury now. And I mean, he felt like he needed to go for the Mansa first, just to be safe. But once he has the Battle Fury, that's when his farm starts escalating, and it's really when he becomes a major threat in those team fights. And then from then, every item that he does pick up, the Daedalus and whatever he gets after that, just makes him into more and more of a monster.
High ground defense becomes even more strong out from DC, because Fire, what do they have? The TA to walk up with Refraction. They don't have a Solar Crest. They've got, you know, they've got no defensive utility really here. They don't have a Dazzle. They don't have Glimmer Capes. They don't have anyone that can save someone from a sticky situation. They do have aggressive options though. When Yawar can Remnant away, finish off his Battle Fury, and now turn things around possibly. They know the two supports are here.
Bulb,
Fluff and Whitebeard are both in their own jungle. Bulba, the 4-staff out from Moo. Jo into a situation where he can just run himself away. Yawar's on the chase, on the hunt, looking for the Remnant forwards. Oh, there we go, he's got him on the very edge of the slight. Gets the chains, and TC was thinking about that Aghanim's ulti. Level 3 Laguna Blade, still not going to be enough to kill the Gyro. That's a big old BKB charge gone. 10 seconds. First BKB charge of the game.
And Yawar really has a very good understanding how far he can chase. He knows, you know, if I have this many spirits, I can slice at this range and catch someone with the chains, because he just did it twice in a row there. Chasing the Gyro, forcing the BKB, and then going into that mid lane and taking down the Rubik. It's impressive, like, to have such a acute understanding of the relevant ranges involved, and what looks like it's not actually a chase is suddenly a chase.
Jo, okay, there we go. He went for the Satanic first, and now into the Butterfly. Gyrocopter is pretty freaking stacked. He can start going into damage. And the only real way you can deal with this Gyrocopter is with that Laguna Blade, right? Because damage-wise, Mystic Flare, Clockwork, you know, a bit of pure, a bit of magical. Ember Spirit, Sleight of Fist, sure, it's physical damage, but he still relies quite heavily on that magical damage from Flame Guard and Searing Chains. Gyro during BKB, what is their answer? Leave him alone?
They're gonna Laguna Blade him, and
right-click him.
Yeah, they're gonna Laguna Blade him and hope that the rest of the damage just is there somehow.
But they've got to right-click him first and then Laguna Blade, or else that Satanic kicks in.
Yeah, I mean, I think once there's a Daedalus on Yawar, then it's quite possible to just get the one good slice and Laguna Blade.
Okay.
But it's difficult otherwise. I agree. It's difficult if you start with the Laguna Blade. He turns on Satanic and he just like laughs it off. And I think, because I cast him with you and this happened yesterday where there was a Shadow Fiend. No, maybe it wasn't. No, it was with Kappa. I was casting the Alliance game. The one game that Alliance nearly won, where S4 was playing Shadow Fiend. He BKB'd. And the enemy Lina would every time just Laguna Blade him as he BKB'd, but they just couldn't finish him. And he'd mech, turn around and just fight them. Turn on Satanic, whatever, and it's a similar situation here where it's actually not worth Lina using Laguna Blade on him if they don't have a way to kill him. So even though it's generally considered to be a counter to him, they'd better be sure that they can do the rest of the damage, otherwise you might as well just be Laguna Blading someone else.
Yeah, then you add in this TA, like refraction charges are difficult to get through already, but if you add in a BKB there, it's the same question again, you know? How do they kill the BKB TA? It does get difficult, and I guess the answer is always going to be this Ember Spirit. If he can get those crits, if he can get the lucky hits now, hook shot, scouted out move. Doesn't get the Echo Slam or anything off, but Enchant Totem locks Yawar in place for now, and Won't get the kill. Cogs to give the retreat here. Bulba is down on the low ground, sent back up. 747. He's going to try and take this one down. Wait, what?
He had a chains on him. The Ember Spirit had slight chains the Earthshaker and then burst it out. So, yeah, the last bit of the chains damage just killed the Earthshaker. He stood there waiting to die.
Thought somehow he like placed a Remnant down here and then jumped from Remnant back to Remnant up at the top rune spot, but yeah, chains makes a lot more sense. So offlaner for offlaner. Not an awful trade there. Work. Still making his way towards the Aghanim Scepter. The blink forward. Dazzle. 0 and 4. This is going to be 0 and 5. They've got no reveal. He's out. Few away. Well played. That's that Glimmer Cape. And this is the kind of thing I was talking about. The defensive utility items that the Dire have, or Dire can build up into. With the Greaves, with the Glimmer, the Medallion, Solar Crest. So much more dynamic than the Radiant.
It's a bit on fluff though, because he should have, and he's just bought some sentries. You'll often see that. The support player will take responsibility. If we don't kill someone, and I was involved in the kill, and it's because of Glimmer Cape, it's on me, I need to buy sentries or dust, and Fluff responds appropriately, sends himself some sentries.
Right now, Yawar is farming very far forward with impunity pretty much, farming up even Radiant jungler camps here, as he slight chains over onto the Centaurs. 747? Through you again. Blink forward, not going to catch him though. But response-wise, Fire is getting pushed from left and right. Top lane in their favor, going towards the tier 3, but take the big man. Roshan's alive. They've got a TA trap in there.
Yeah, and they had a Spirit in it earlier, so both teams do know that Roshan's alive.
Oh, Fluff has walked straight into this. Blink Echo will finish off AUI. Yawar, 2 hits. No, he's still not dead. He's got his jump away. Lights first. Laguna Blade will finish off the Earthshaker. Yawar silenced up the cooldown. Does he have a Remnant even? He's got a stick charge. Yep, he zips back. Remnant into the Radiant jungle. He's himself back and safely home. It's again a good straight out.
The trouble that I'm seeing coming up for Digital Chaos is that Ember Spirit can outcarry the enemy team. Ember Spirit can beat just about anything, I think, if it's played well enough. But it doesn't want to be in the thick of the fight. It doesn't want to be the hero at the front tanking, and Lina doesn't really want to be that hero either. So the pressure ends up being on Bulba to manage to win them fights by getting the right hook at the right time, the right cog. That, you know, bringing the enemy team into vision so that everyone can be seen, we know where everyone's standing, and Ember Spirit and Lina can just do the things they need to do.
Chained in searing heat.
Gaio getting hit down. Yawar. This goes for the sneaky play and jumps back. But yeah, I agree. The Clockwork is the one guy that goes in. The rest of them do like to sit in the fog a little bit. Ember Spirit more so than Lina. You know, you want the sleight of fist spam just to keep on coming. And we've seen a couple of times, especially when he's against Phantom Lancer. Sure, the Ember Spirit is a great hero up against the PL, but if you're in a fight and you get your mana burnt out, or in this case, if you get, you know, hit down to half HP by the TA, who crits with that Daedalus pretty damn hard, the Desolator damage and minus armor as well, you can get locked in place by that Echo Slam from Earthshaker for long enough to actually finish you off. And he hasn't gone for, you know, BKB or anything like that to keep himself surviving in the mix of a team fight, but look at this. They've found Moo. Absolutely perfect movement and rotation through. The cogs, though, not so great. The hookshot forward will find Fluff and stuff, but the Roshan died, snatched by TA. That's the Aegis, and now she's going to bring herself back to life. Yawar, Remnant back onto the high ground. But they've got a hookshot from Fluff. Lina actually dies in the thick of things there, and Yawar doesn't have a Remnant, and his TP boots are on cooldown. The Roshan got killed by the Dire. TA takes Aegis and does die and lose her second life, or loses her first life even. But Lina dying there is a pretty big deal.
All things considered, I think it's still a good trade for Digital Chaos because they were very close to just losing the Rush and the Aegis. And I think they'd rather come out of the fights with the Aegis gone and Lina dead and getting the last hit than no one died but the enemy team got the last hit and the Aegis.
Yeah. Because that would mean that the Radiant walk up high ground with the TA or the Gyrocopter, put them on top of the ramp and say, hey, you come and fight us. We've got 2 lives on one of these heroes. Deal with it. But in this situation, Digital Chaos have a little more room to maneuver. Like Yawar, his invis, he can run himself back to base. He's actually going to loop back here.
And he could finish his Daedalus here, but he's just a bit concerned about buyback. If he does finish his Daedalus, then all of a sudden there's no buyback. If he does once, the game could just be over.
Light number 1. Tier 3 tower's already gone. 747. Pounding away at the racks, but they don't want to overcommit. And they have a smoke. This is something that I really like watching out for now, is like the fake back. We used to we saw a lot from like VP and Power Rangers, a couple of the CIS teams, where they take a tier 3 and or they take a racks or something like that. They back themselves up, smoke, and then re-engage. Nothing like that from Fire just yet, even though they do have global and all of their ultimates ready and available.
You have to say, if you look at all the net worths of every hero in this game, at this point, 40 minutes into the game, Whitebeard is just a freaking genius. That build of buys 0 items, not even boots, not even branches, straight into Midas, it has paid crazy dividends. I mean, he's only got about 100 creeps. He's got less last hits than Dazzle. His net worth tells a different story. Extra 4,000 gold, and he's got the Ags, and he's now on the way to the refresher as well.
Has Rubik paid too much for that though? Because he's down at 4,000 net worth without a blink, without glimmer cape or anything like that. Is it worth the disparity there for your Silencer to have? Obviously it's good for the Silencer to have 12,000 and only be 3k behind the Lina, but Fluffer's missed out a lot here buying all the Observer Wards and stuff.
I think Fluff probably doesn't mind so much. Question is better focused around the impact of the global silences. So if those global silences are winning fights, then it really doesn't matter that your Rubik has to just have no items. If the global silences are getting wasted or not managing to win fights for you, then yeah, the investment's a bit misleading. 12,000 net worth. I wouldn't say that silence is actually worth that much, because the impact of his items are very, very specific. You can use force on someone and you can global silence.
Oh, hook shot.
Double hooks.
Still had it, but Yamaha has got the remnant back.
That's the Fluff hook.
Yep. Fluff stole it in the last team fight.
Ah, I see. Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about a lot recently when you look at net worths of heroes. We don't have a metric that's sensitive to, how much value a particular item on a particular hero is. And so sometimes you might see a hero with 8,000 net worth, another hero has 10,000 net worth, but actually the one with 8,000 net worth is a lot stronger than the 10,000 net worth one because of which hero they are with which items. And a similar thing can be said here about the Silencer. Yes, he's very rich. Yes, it's very important. But if they don't get value out of his ulti, then while his ulti's on cooldown, then he's not really there. Yeah, it's not actually 12,000.
There's no metric for impact, right? You can measure how much gold you get, how much experience you get, how much time you spend in a certain place of the map, but there's no measure for how fully impactful you are in a game. You can measure KDA and things like that, but it doesn't all add up. What about global?
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, it's an obvious example. You can imagine an anti-mage has 50,000 net worth when the rest of the game is 10,000. But if he bought 6 refresher orbs, he's not actually worth 50,000 gold, right? He's just not. And there's certain cases where that comes out quite often, and I think some support heroes are good examples of that. Especially support heroes that go for Aghanim Scepters, where it does feel like when their ulti's on cooldown, they're certainly not worth the gold that they've spent on that Aghanim Scepter.
Fire are keeping themselves up in the lead. There's Dazzle, sure, he's got his Solar Crest and the Glimmer Cape, and he is now playing the split push role. I still find it interesting that AUI and the Dazzle, the Scarlet and the Dazzle are the ones split pushing across here. Glyph is not up for another, minute or so, and Jo with the 747 TA and Gyrocopter take down the range racks already, now looking for the melee. TC just throwing out spells left and right, trying to stop this aggressive play in. Bulba, maybe a hookshot now, forced up aggressively. 747 is pushed back in towards the base. He's blocked out by the rest of his team, but a forced back over and a blink dagger available. Cancelled out now. BKB is forced with the global out. Ball down, not going to land onto anyone, but they've got the racks. They got what they came for. And is this the time now where you look for the Bulba hook? He can't line it up. There's 3 heroes there, and they've got the Blink Echo onto TC. Graved up to keep him alive, but the Lina turns back to try and fight this one. Further aggression as the Clockwork is on the retreat out. 747 hits is all you need, but Yawar bodyguarding Bulba, and a crit out from 747's Templar Assassin secures that kill. Now Moo has a Yules with the Fisher, Rocket Barrage, Biryu dead. No, he's not, still alive. Glimmers up, Jo. Up a little bit further back and the jump back in. Yawar, he wanted a crit. Get one. Jo still dies and are forced staff over. Whitebeard TP's out. Fire have lost a lot. I think they bit off a fair amount more than they could chew.
They stayed too long, simple as that. Global Silence down, BKB's down, they need to not be there anymore. And Yawar, by the way, went back after that Chrysalis for MKB actually. He's realized, and I think that's why they didn't commit to defending their axe actually. Both enemy cores of butterflies, and until Ember Spirit at MKB, they don't win a fair fight. They won that fight there, but it's because Fire stayed too long. Now that he has an MKB, and especially once he finishes the Daedalus on top of that, which I'm sure he will still complete, he's got all the damage he needs. They can defend.
And I can push out this lane as well. TA buys up boot to travel. Yawar, he needs to spend a little more time split pushing these lanes out. But in that situation there, you knew the brute force was coming, and Fire, they were running straight down that middle lane. They were never going to give up. What is 747 by next? He's got his Deso, Daedalus, Butterfly, BKB, Blink, and Traveler on the way. But what do you skip out here? Do you sell the Blink for AC? Because that mobility is useful really late into the game, just being able to jump forward onto the Ember, or even the Lina.
Yeah, I think he'll eat a Moonshard first. I think that's most likely. Or maybe... I'm wondering, because there's an MKB on Ember Spirit, you maybe consider replacing your Butterfly for a while. I'm not too sure, but eating Moonshard is definitely the safest thing to do, other than saving buyback.
Oh, true. Moonshard TA. Give me that attack speed. Ara, really? Oh, AUI? No, no, no! Oh, God.
What's just happened?
Please rocket flare it.
Oh, did they just miss the rush spawn as they were scouting?
There were like 4 heroes here. AUI walked in the pit, walked out, and then it spawned. And then they haven't rocket flared, they haven't walked back in.
And it's actually really big right now. Honestly, I think if Fire get the Aegis, and I think there's a cheese now as well. Is it number 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fire get it. It's very close to them being able to force another side of racks. If Digital Chaos get it, the game is wide open again. And now it looks like Fire actually smoking themselves towards the pits, and
oh boy.
Wow, it really is bad luck that Digital Chaos checked. Just missed the timing.
Boy. Into the pit they go. Gyro with an MKB of his own right now. Take the Roshan. Pressure on the silencer. He'll give the cheese over to the Gyrocopter, I guess, and then Aegis on... No, Aegis Gyro. Oh, TA does... Of course, never mind. Ignore me. TA does slot. We talked about this already. So, cheese goes on the Earthshaker. 747 got to rely on his items and his skill set to try and survive. I was wondering where the Dazzle was going, but he gets a very good observer ward up on that high ground, so they'll see the entry points out here from the Radiant. It's up to Fluff and Stuff to place a rando sentry down. Oh no! Okay. Fluff and Stuff is so good, actually.
There's a DD on Ember Spirit, by the way.
God, he could actually cleave through a bunch of them here. Yawar pops it relatively early on, and AUI, he's been seen. He's been stunned up by that Fisher. But Slight and Chains. Well, the push
747.
Look at the HP.
He's got to. 747's got to be really tired of Bulba forcing him in now. Every time he goes to hit the tower, Bulba force stops him in, and he has to like panic for a few seconds. Can I get out? Do I need to BKB?
It's irritating after a while. But the DD's run out now, right? Oh, it's very close to running out. Blink forward, 747, 2-hit crit down onto that Skarath mage. Now looking for more as the Laguna Blade. 747's dead. He's actually obliterated. Yawar now can actually look at defender's face. The global top, the CA has fought back and TP'd in though. The boot to travel, paying off. Do they force this? They've still got Blink Echo. Still got Aegis and Satanic in 15 seconds time on that Gyrocopter. And I guess
Gyro's not got BKB.
It's of them wanting to really end this now.
Well, and the fact that they've used the buyback on TA just makes you think like they need to get something out of it.
Oh, Yawar, Blink Echo stuns up his grave though with the Glimmer Cape as well. jump himself away, but Jo, the right-click attacks Bulba. One hit dead. Rocket Barrage will secure that one. Jo has kind of secluded himself from the rest of the team, but 747 Yule's up. TC has no way to escape this one, except if he turns and fights. The Glimmer Cape. Dazzle is keeping his team alive and in this game, really. Jo now looking for the racks, though. Yawar silenced. There's no more slight. There's only a glyph between this Radiant team and the game. Do you bother buying back? Do you just give up the racks and say, hey, look, that's it. Ember Spirit, you've got to defend now on your own because he's stunned up, he's locked down, and he's killed. Forced to buy back on your Lina and your Ember, and now it's time. The Remnants come in. That's Fluff using Remnants, but the crits and hits the Sleight of Fist. Yawar, Ember Spirit does cleave through a bunch of them, and a secondary one. Moo caught Ember Spirit, finds him, but the hits back. TA, Melt Strike, but Manta Style turns it back, and now Jo looking for the advance, wants to kill the Ember, wants to punish these buybacks, but it'll go down in the end as well.
It's a dieback for TA, and you see a line drawn through the map, and I wonder if they're thinking, can we force a set of racks for ourselves? Because TA is dead for a very long time now.
Dire's middle tower has
See what they can do, because 2 lanes of racks down is no joke.
By the way, Dazzle, doing a lot of work, saving a lot of people with the Capes, the Solar Crest, the Shadow Games. There was one grave, though, that was actually on an Ember Spirit illusion, and I was wondering if... was that on purpose? Are you trying to, like, juke the enemy team somehow? It looked like he was going for TC there and just missed it out. I'm not too sure.
I have no idea. I could see it being an option, but... Brave is such a valuable skill, and there's nothing, you know, there's no axe here, so it's not as though they're going to be able to go through that. I don't know.
I was a bit surprised actually that you can grave an illusion. That seems like a... hang on, can you like grave creeps? It's not...
No, you can't grave creep.
Yeah, it's like... It's a bit strange that you can grave an illusion, but yeah, I guess there's a lot of things you can do to illusions.
Radiant's middle tower.
With 2 lanes pushing in here, actually. The TA dead for 37. Gyro might be forced to buy back. 16 seconds and the blink forward. Yawar has actually gone out. Wow. Fluff dead. Tier 3 dropping low. Gyro, 7 seconds. Oh, there's no need to buy back. You can calmly respawn and jump yourself in maybe here as Yawar. This Blink Dagger, the Global Silence, gonna try and slow their escape, but TC, he's already in the thick of things. The Global, refreshed. The Silencer keeps them on lockdown. The Blink Dagger, the 4-staff back. TC is out, but the Skywrath and Dazzle are both dead. Bulba, I'm not sure what your chances are here, but they're pretty damn low. Maybe if you can survive and hook shot out, not possible. That might really secure the game for the Radiant. 5 heroes alive against 2. Because 3 of the Dire don't have buyback here. And are they even close? Not really at all.
They don't have Aegis or Cheese or any global silences though. So I don't want to write it off completely yet. It takes for lucky crits. And there's a Blink Dagger up on Yawar as well. Let's see if you can do it.
Well, TC's stuck. Telekinesis and probably just royally screwed here. You'll Scepter up, but it's all on Yawar now. Can't even Laguna Blade. And at this point, I do not see Ember Spirit 1v5ing. Maybe he can Sleight of Fist, crit and hit, but blinks forward looking for Moo, Remnants across. He's trying his damnedest actually to actually do this, but he's silenced and the game's over. So guys, we're going to a game 3, 1 apiece here in the final semi-finals for the ESL 1 New York North American qualifiers. The winner of this final game is going to go up against Complexity in the grand finals. This series is actually panning out to be a pretty amazing one. I thought after that first game, Digital Chaos looked so good, but Fire come back fighting in game number 2. A little more of a, a standard draft, no techies or offlane slaughter this time around. But
I think